Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Seattle, Washington. Welcome to my channel as well. I am in front of this restaurant called New, one of the trendiest restaurants in Seattle right now. It was founded in 2015, in January 2015, and has since been written up a lot in many publications, including Seattle Times, the New York Magazine, and the Food Channel, among many others. So the concept of the restaurant is street food from around the world. It was founded by Cvetkovich, who was actually a tech entrepreneur and who has traveled extensively around the world, around 80 different countries that he's traveled to. And he wanted to basically bring back street food that he discovered in those countries, and so he opened up this restaurant, and it's street food from around the world. So I'm gonna check it out. I have a reservation for noon this afternoon, and it's just right before noon, and I actually received an email from Chris himself giving me permission to film. So I'm really excited to find out all about this restaurant and find out about the menu. So here is the menu, starting here with Syrian, going down to Chinese, Filipino, Sri Lankan, Israeli, Burmese, South African, which I think I might have for lunch today, Dutch, and Caribbean. And then during the lunch menu, or weekday lunch menu, they have the Caribbean, Lebanese, again Filipino, Dutch, Egyptian, Irish, Syrian, more Israeli, and French tacos. So really interesting menu here. So very good concept, quite innovative in terms of people wanting to attracting people, anybody who'd want to be trying different kinds of food from around the world. It's definitely a good place. So we go inside and check out the inside of the place. So this is what the inside looks like, and the seating is designed so that there'll be communal seating. You're basically going to be sitting with people you don't even know, but which makes for interesting conversation about the food. So, and hopefully maybe even try somebody else's dish. But that is the concept behind this dining. And back here they have a full bar with a sort of Asian inspired theme. And this is a collection of trinkets from around the world. Very cool, huh? Again, we are at New Restaurant on 14th Street by Pike, by near 14th and Pike in Seattle. So I'm here for the weekday brunch, and I'm having the Portuguese peri-peri chicken sandwich. Never had it before, so I'm really interested to find out what it's like. And it's going to come with fries, and I'm also having a Filipino drink called calamansi, which is like small limes that is squeezed and turned into juice. So I'm really excited to see what I'm going to be having. So I'm having the Portuguese peri-peri chicken sandwich. It's made with fried chicken, buttermilk fried chicken sandwich, and with a peri sauce. It's a spicy sauce, along with some arugula and pickles, and comes with this French fries, which I love. I love well-made well done French fries with mayonnaise. Really good. And this drink, it's a Filipino drink called calamansi juice. Calamansi is tiny limes about like this size, and it's more of like has more of a sweet taste, lime taste rather than bitter, and it's a very good drink. So this is what I'm having here today. Again, I'm a new restaurant in Seattle, one of the trendiest restaurants right now in Seattle, and very quickly becoming very popular. And I'm here for a weekday brunch. And you check it out, there's different menus for the weekend brunch and the weekday brunch, spanning so many countries from around the world. So yeah, I'm having the Portuguese peri sandwich with French fries and mayonnaise. So taste this right now and see what it tastes like. Very good. Chicken is cooked very well. It's kind of crispy on the outside and really tender on the inside. You see here. And that spicy sauce actually goes very well with the sandwich. Very tasty. I'm really liking this. Yeah. And this calamansi drink would actually go really well with vodka. Yeah, try it. Well, there it is. So next, I'm going to be interviewing Chris, who actually founded this restaurant, and ask him a few more questions about the place. So right in front of me is Chris Cvetkovich, and he is a native of Seattle, and has traveled to a gazillion different countries. I believe more than 80, right?
No, like 50.
50? Okay.
Still working on 80.
Oh, still working on 80. And so you came up with this concept of this restaurant, of basically street food from around the world. Now, Chris, I just want to know, like, of all the countries you've been to, which ones were the most memorable?
People ask that question a lot, like, or what's your favorite country or eating and whatnot, and it varies. I mean, they're just so different, but so similar that it's so, like, everywhere is very approachable when it comes to, like, street food and the place that people are eating, like, on the street or with each other. Southeast Asia has a lot of the street food and, like, more of the gathering places where people come together, the street markets, the night markets, and whatnot. And I gotta say, it's kind of a big one.
So, like, yeah, because I noticed, like, me being having a Filipino background, I noticed, like, you have foods from the Philippines, Burma, and then you have even China, of course, and Thailand, right? And
But we also like the Eastern Europe is another thing, and then we'll hit like the Northern Africa, like the Central African, South African dishes, which is one of the more popular, the Sunny Bunny and the Bunny Chow.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to get that. I was interested, but I thought it was kind of like maybe too much food.
It's a pretty big portion, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was concerned about, but I will be coming back for that one. So I'm having the Portuguese peri chicken sandwich, which is like so well done. It's absolutely like perfectly done. The chicken is so crunchy and it's juicy inside. What's a peri chicken? What is the peri?
It's known as a Portuguese dish, but it's really the peri is more of an African flavoring. So the Portuguese were a colonizer, and they colonized. I need to look up the country. Somebody going to space them.
At the end of the month, I'll let you know how this goes, and then I think what we're going to do is we're going to do this when we add it to the water.
So it's Portuguese So African influence a Portuguese dish. That's really because like there's a lot of that too in Spain, right? Like a lot of
Yeah, well, one of the ththings that I noticed, because I was recently in Portugal, and the food what they've done there, so a lot of these countries, like France colonized a lot of countries, England colonized a lot of countries, you think of like India and whatnot, they didn't really take much back from, they brought a lot of things to the country, like like the French were, they kind of left their imprint in the country that they colonized, where Portugal took a lot of ingredients back from the country.
oh, interesting.
Including, like, and you notice that in the markets, like when you're going around Portugal, you're seeing a lot of the African ingredients, you're seeing a lot of Asian ingredients they brought back from colonization over there. And they kind of integrated it into their own. So Portuguese has like this breadth that you're not finding in Spain, you're not finding it in Italy. Yeah, I find it an interesting concept. So that's where the peppers are coming from
Yeah.
Central African region.
Very cool dish. So in terms of like the breadth of dishes here, like what is the most popular? What do you think?
Our two best sellers are South African Buddy Chow and then our Chengdu chicken wings. The tower of wings, it has the spice on it, the heat, but also has the Szechuan peppercorn, which gives you a little bit of numbing.
Okay. And what was it like when you had it in Chengdu?
That's the one dish that I would have to say is probably the closest to being more of a fusion in our own creation type thing. That dish in and of itself does not exist in Chengdu. You'll find similar dishes, but our flavors tend to lean a little bit more. I mean, the part of the Chengdu is the amount of spice, the amount of heat that we have, and also the use of the green Szechuan peppercorn. However, we also utilize the fish sauce. We have more of an arome flavor, which you would say would be more northern Vietnam, southern China. So that's the one that we don't do that's verbatim. The other ones we try and keep, right on exactly what you find in the country of origin.
So you incorporated a lot from and then kind of like incorporated into like more of like more like an American dish, right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, we didn't do like it's not like a chicken chow mein kind of thing. We did not Americanize it at all. We kept with the influences of that region of the world, but we then borrowed from some of the adjoining regions. Like I said, northern Vietnam by using the fish sauce. They wouldn't really use that in Chengdu. They would have more of like just more of the chili, more of the heat, more of the salt. And we kind of like brought some other flavors in because we just like the way it tasted. Yeah, it's like we're not. We never want to pigeonhole ourselves into like we're not a street food restaurant. We're not a Asian restaurant. We're not a North African restaurant. We're just kind of like what we want to do when we want to do it. And when we travel and we try a new dish, we can put that on the menu. We change our menu all the time just based on sometimes on a whim.
Well, that's the great appeal of it because like you have dishes from around the world, and that's what people will come back to, and that's what the brilliance of it is.
Well, the other thing is like we like people to let us know that dishes that we haven't tried as well. We have a dish going back on our menu this week, the chocolate kebab from Pakistan. And I had a woman a couple of years ago who sent me an email saying, I love your restaurant, would you consider Pakistani food? And I've never been to Pakistan. So I wrote back and I said, well, I'd like to know more about it. Like, in my mind, can you tell me what's different between Pakistani and Indian food? And she said, let me get back. She wrote back the next day and said, are you free on Wednesday to come over to my home for lunch? And I came over and she cooked like 10 different dishes from her region, from where she came from. And they blew me away. And so what I'm finding is there are a lot of the same, the overlap of the Indian flavors. You're saying a lot of the chutneys, the mint, the tamarind. But then you start moving into the pomegranate seed. You start seeing more use of the beef along with the lamb. It starts to fuse like a Middle Eastern type thing. And I thought it was fantastic. We have the chocolate kebab, which is going on our menu. Which uses the dried pomegranate seed. It's made with beef, not lamb or chicken. It's kind of like this really cool fusion.
Did you consider going to Pakistan?
Oh, absolutely. No, I'd love to.
So like every single those countries that are represented here are basically places that you've already been to, right?
Mostly. Yeah, unless somebody comes like from that country and says, oh, I'd like this, have you ever heard of this dish? Like I used to eat this back home. I mean, we have a pretty big, broad international community here in Seattle.
That's true.
And people miss things from back home. And so the dishes that we focus on is like, if we put something on the menu, it's not going to be the typical thing that you're going to find from that menu in the United States. Like for example, it's changing now. You start seeing now like Indian restaurants that are specialized like on Kerala or one that specialized in Kurd, like these different regions. But 10 years ago, if you went to an Indian restaurant, it's like you had the same menu. It was like the butter chickens, it was the tikka masalas, it was the same 10 things. We would never put one of those dishes. We want to pick the dish that when you're in India, it's ubiquitous. But when you come back to the United States, you don't really find it.
Exactly.
And I mean, there's different reasons for that depending on the country. India, for example, a lot of people that came over originally to open the restaurants in the United States came from one region of India. And so they're going to be cooking the things that they're used to. But you weren't having people coming from the southern states, and you had people coming from Kerala, for example, and doing more of the seafood and the coconut, and it surprised people that the flavors are completely different.
And I think that's where you're getting a lot of the attention, like from the media attention, is because of the uncommon dishes that you actually
uncommon
have.
here, but in the country of origin, like, you find them everywhere.
Yeah, uncommon here, but you're representing them from those countries. But here, it's like even like something like balut, for instance. Like that was certainly like that's uncommon for many Americans.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people have heard of that dish. They know what it is, and they're curious to try it.
Yeah.
And it's always like this thing, like you never want to put anything on there, like nothing is on there for like a shock value kind of thing. And people, they do like balut on Fear Factor, and I think that's a stupid thing to do. The idea is to let people know that this thing that you think might be a little bit weird actually tastes pretty damn good. You know, and there's like 1 million people a day that eat these things, and they're not doing it because they're trying to impress their friends on Instagram. They're eating it because it tastes good.
Yeah, because it's common for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So last thing, how are you handling all the press? Like, how's it going?
Oh, we don't really think about that. We focus on just what we're doing here, and we don't focus on. I mean, it's nice to have the attention, but it's not our reason for going forward.
And you survived the pandemic.
We did.
That's wonderful.
No, we were actually in a fortunate position with the pandemic because our menu is so varied and it is so eclectic. We were able to pivot and change whatever we wanted to do, and nobody was like, "Oh wow, here's a French restaurant that turned into a Japanese restaurant." I mean, we just kept doing things from. We did originally go back to more comfort foods. So now like when the pandemic first hit, people didn't want to eat things that were unusual and strange. They wanted comforting things, which is like curries from around the world. And every country has a curry, or what could be considered a curry. So it's like this warming type things that have starch and sauce.
So that's one way to survive the pandemic,
Exactly.
right? Exactly, the diversity of the menu. One last question though. Okay, so you were before you started, you were a tech entrepreneur, right? Are you planning on going back to that, or this is like?
No, I mean, like food was always my thing. Like, food was always my passion. But I'm also an artist, so I did 3D animation for video games for 15, 20 years. My degree is actually in archaeology. I mean, I knew that I was never going to use that even when I went for the degree.
Wow.
But then, so I taught myself how to do 3D animation modeling and worked in that industry, doing like Xbox games and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I don't play games. Like, I never owned an Xbox. It's just the way that I can make money doing art. And so then I didn't. So I quit the game industry and then opened my own business doing animation still, but for the food science industry. So I did a series of 15 videos for the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America. They're things that are using in their classroom things for science of cooking, where you fly into like a chicken during brining to see what's happening at the molecular level when you brine a chicken. And that was cool. It was like it was in my wheelhouse of food of what I wanted to be, but I was still sitting at a computer doing and that. So I didn't quit that, but I certainly didn't pursue it. So I just kind of. I took some time off, did a lot of traveling, and then when I came back, I realized I had to do something. It's like, I'll open a restaurant.
Any expansion plans for the restaurant?
I mean, I like the size. I like what this is. I think there's a danger in like trying to jump on popularity, because as soon as you expand, you're not doubling your income. You bring on more liability. I think the quality will suffer. I realized how this is a difficult restaurant for me. It's not a turnkey operation.
No.
I'm constantly trying to source ingredients from different. Like I leave for Asia on Sunday. I'm going to Vietnam and Thailand, and part of the reason I'm going over there is to pick up things that I need for the restaurant that I can't buy here.
Wow.
If I was doing that constantly for 2 restaurants or 10 restaurants. I mean, there's different versions of this concept I could do and branch out and open up another restaurant just like this. I don't think
I'll have to follow you around the world picking out these ingredients.
that's fun. I mean, that's the part I enjoy.
Yeah,
I mean,
follow you around with the camera.
Work,
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
That'd be like really good. That's the thing. I can imagine that's probably a full-time job in itself. It's like
Oh, sure.
like keeping track of all these because the menu is massive in
Yeah.
terms of like the variety of
Especially
it.
considering the size of our space. I don't know. The kitchen is freaking amazing. What they can get done in that amount of space.
Yeah, it is really amazing.
I mean,
These
I can
guys,
show you in the back if you want to see like how tiny our walk-in is. It's like a third of the size of most places.
the back of like your storage.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So we go into the back and checking out storage area here. Oh my God!
Yeah. So this is our tiny walk-in right here.
This is the entire walk-in. Storing practically like everything in the menu. That's amazing. And wow.
And yeah, you can imagine like the number of spices that we need to hold here from like every single place in the world.
That is pretty it's pretty intense, right? Like look at all these spices right here. And then there's more at the top here. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, like, logistically, this is pretty good, really good planning in order to be able to do this.
Oh, you have to run very.
You're running a really tight ship
Yeah,
here.
you have to. I mean, you really have to. Because one thing out of place, and you're.
And the staff here is amazing. The food, of course, like, you know, because...
We're running a pretty lean staff.
and that is the entire kitchen right there. Oh, wow. Amazing. This is really amazing.
So are you local?
No, I'm from Honolulu.
Oh, okay. What are you doing here?
I'm visiting, and I'm
Okay.
doing this.
Oh, that's very cool.
This has been Chris. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to meet up with me and go over this restaurant. It's truly an incredible operation.
Oh, great. Thanks so much.
Right.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. So this place, once again, is a new restaurant at 1519 14th Avenue in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Seattle. Really enjoyable meal, and thank you again to Chris for taking the time to join me for lunch and tell me all about this amazing restaurant. Again, if you're ever in Seattle, check this place out. Thanks for watching.